Well, I am here. I'm just taking care of some stuff real quick. I suffer. It's like once I get like a song in my head, it doesn't stop. until, like, I completely forget. You know what? It's also probably because that I missed the game. That's probably what it is. Hello, Prismo. Hello. But the thing is, I could play it again, yes. But I've pretty much done all the content. Well, okay, I can't say all the content, but I would say a decent, like, 99% of it. That's how much of it I've done. That going back would just be re-experiencing things and not trying anything new. I mean, I guess the only new thing I could do is make different choices. But in the end, it'll probably meander towards the same uh line. You know, like the whole illusion of choice thing. That's basically what I'm talking about. Or like, yeah, you can make the choice, but it's basically like flavor text. Oh, come on. Give me the goddamn mask. I've pretty much gotten almost everything in this gacha pool. Sorry. I'm complaining about a different game. Alright. Actually, yeah, I'll complain about this later. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, let me just quickly do another, and then we'll start. This is also giving people a chance to come in if they wanted to come in. Oh, what did I get? Guys, I got a SSR. What did I get? Is it a face? It is a face. Of course it's a face. Of course it's a face. But you know what? I'm not complaining. I'd actually prefer a face. Alright, I'm done. Until tomorrow. Alright, so like planned, we will do uh one episode per stream. So right now we're on episode 2. Oh, fudge. Why did it break off like that? Okay, sorry. Now I'm ready. The buzzing of the ship wakes me. Confusion at my surroundings swiftly giving way to the recognition that the past few days weren't all just some bad dream, and I'm still here on the ship. I turn to lay on my back and blink up at the ceiling. My eyes sleepily adjust to the light. Disappointment swirls in my gut as I trace the rivets and lines above me, and I realize that nothing has changed. It wasn't a dream. It was real. And I still have no idea why I'm here. The crackle of the intercom abruptly booms through my room, and the corners of my lips shift a little as I recognize the voice of Ayame. Pushing myself up on the bed, I swing my legs over the side and yawn. It had taken some getting used to sleeping on a moving craft, and I didn't get nearly enough sleep after laying awake half the night, my thoughts racing. It's strange that when Calderin, hey, I got it right the first time, because trust me, I was definitely in position to say Ron, and I was like, no, no, it's not Ron, Rin. Visited in my room that first night. He was almost soft. Though there's no telling how long that might last. Rather than risk the captain's wrath again, I force myself to my feet, shivering as the cold metal floor touches my bare feet, and head to the bathroom to wash up. After my initial meeting with the crew, and the frankly hostile welcome from Calderin, I had avoided leaving my room as much as possible, content to let Riona bring me meals and generally fuss over my well-being. The headaches I've been having since my accident haven't quite disappeared, and the pills and tonics that Riona has brought me are the only thing helping me to get any sleep at all. That, and the amazing cups of tea she leaves outside my door. Leaving my room, I pick a direction at whim and head down the corridor, hoping to see a sign of some sort that might lead me to the bridge. After wandering for a while and finding nothing, I turn a corner and collide with what I can only describe as a wall of muscle. Though, thankfully, the owner of said muscles manages to reach out and steady me before I fall ass first to the floor. Hi, Junebug! uh, if the nickname wasn't obvious enough, June is absolutely precious to me. It's like, how can you not like this? He's like the literal embodiment of gentle giant. Well, you know what? No, I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna spoil. We'll get there in like 3 more streams, 3, 4. I mean, not yet. That 2, 3 streams. Yeah, 2 or 3 streams. We'll get there. Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry. No harm done. June looks at me with concern, and I give him a small smile to try and assure him that I really am fine. It's only then that his shoulders drop, and he smiles back. Thank the gods for that, because I am completely lost. I fall into step beside him and he matches his pace with mine as we head down the corridor. Though at first I wasn't sure if I could trust June, I'm starting to believe that he's one of the good guys. Why else would he have helped me on Goldus? Not at all, no. The room is small. I really got a decent few hours of sleep. I think someone must have slipped something under my mattress. It was all lumpy and uncomfortable. I pressed a couple of fingers into my side, trying to loosen the muscles that had tightened uncomfortably during my restless sleep. June gives me a small smile and shrugs apologetically. I couldn't have taken your room, June. I'm sure you have things in there that are private. I left a hand to wave off the idea. June has done enough for me as it is. Oh, you don't like to decorate? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's. I was about to say a totally different word. Silence slowly stretches between us until we round a corner and I speak up again. So, are you used to being woken up by Ayame shouting through a speaker every morning? Insomnia? Oh. It's like, don't you just want to, pamper him and, give him, tons of hugs? Or is that just me? His eyebrows tip in the middle, and I get the feeling I shouldn't ask anymore. Though before I get the chance to change the subject, June beats me to it. I know nothing. Not much at all. Nothing I can remember anyway. I nod and encourage him to go ahead. The more I learn, the more likely it is that something will spark a memory. There's something dark in June's voice when he says the name, and somewhere deep down, I feel a flicker of recognition. Kimahri? Right? It is Kimahri. Kimahri. I think they had it in the pronunciation thing. Let me go take a quick look. Yeah, I always read it as Kimahri. Yeah, it says Kimahri. Okay. Yeah, like I thought it's pronounced that way. Mary? Oh, no. Wait. There we go. June nods, his sandy blonde hair falling into his eyes that have turned hard. I remember the name as Valk. Eldarin had been going on about him last night, how he was the man who killed the royal family, stole the throne. That's what we're doing there? Gathering intel and laying low? Ayame mentioned the crew was in some kind of trouble. Is it serious? June's face falls, and I get the impression that he's holding himself back, as if considering exactly how much he wants me to know. We enter the bridge to a buzz of activity, clearly the last ones to arrive. Calderin and Ayame are seated up front, the pilot flicking switches and pushing buttons while the captain barks at someone through a small wireless device he holds in his hand. A hesitant laugh crackles through the receiver from the other side, and I recognize the voice instantly. Riona greets us with a smile from where she's buckling herself into one of the extra chairs, and when I feel a hand on my arm, I turn back to June. Hold on. Is it? Let me just double check and make sure. Because I did end up accidentally closing out of it. Okay, there we go. Because I'm like, there should be audio playing. I know there should be audio playing. Sorry about that. I didn't double check that I put it back in thing. Damon's voice reaches us from where he's standing nearby, sheathing a pair of daggers into place on his thighs. June folds his arms over his chest, giving Damon a hard look. People the whole people like you. See? These people like you. People like me. Excuse me? Yeah. June, you gotta watch what you say, man. Damon's lips slowly widen into a grin, his gaze lazily trailing from June to me. June lets out a long breath as he guides me to one of the extra seats. June makes a disgusted face, and I have to agree that the combination doesn't sound all that appealing. Damon rolls his eyes as June settles into his seat and abruptly ends the conversation. Before I can take my own seat, he steps in front of me to block the way. Oh wait, I feel like I just didn't read a part of the dialogue, oh no. Oh well. I'm even more unnerved by him now than when we first met, though that may be because he's smiling at me in a way that leaves me unsure if he wants to stab me or seduce me. Both, probably. My gaze flickers over the knives partly concealed by his coat, and the twin daggers he keeps strapped to his thighs. Wonder how he manages not to cut himself on all that steel. I'm sure there's plenty more hidden where I can't see. Yes. I mean, sure. I mean, if you're offering. It's like if you're offering, you know. I give him a mock smile and call him out on his bluff. Let's see if he's all talk. Here? Or would you rather a private room? Damon raises an eyebrow at me before he chuckles quietly, and I know he hasn't taken the bait. I mean, hey, gotta be able to take and dish it out too. Damon grins at the prospect, his head cocking to the side as he sizes me up. My eyes narrow on him in suspicion. What exactly does he mean by business? I quickly realize he's not giving me a choice, and when he saunters over to a large monitor, I follow suit. I watch with curiosity as his fingers fly over the screen. I began scrolling through information I couldn't begin to piece together even if I wanted to. Okay, yeah. Sandbox with tons of toys. Okay, there's glass in the sandbox. He gives me a knowing grin before snapping his attention back to the screen. I give him an incredulous look, And when I part my lips to speak, no words come out. Calderon wanted to leave me in a place like that? Hello, Ali. You missed the trail stream last night. No, I'm kidding. You literally didn't miss anything. I was menuing for like two hours. But that was only because I was starting one of the new routes anyway. So you can't really blame me. Because I had basically built up everybody on Van's route. So I had to like basically do that again for Reen. But then unfortunately, if I wanted to like continue like menuing and getting them straightened up, I had to continue the main story because I don't know if they have like their latest weapons, like the Van group. And then I also wanted to be able to make the later quartz. So like, you know, like the EP3 and stuff like that. But the place that they have, they don't have that little feature. So I figured maybe that might be in the new place. But won't know till I get there, and if I want to get there. I have to finish the main story in that particular area that we're in. I feel like there was something I was supposed to talk about and forgot. Yeah, I feel. God damn it, what is it? What was I supposed to mention? Yeah, fuck it, I'm not gonna remember. I don't reply, but I'm sure the hard set of my jaw tells him everything he needs to know. Oh, you were lurking? Yo. Bro is dedicated. What is your streak at? I already forgot what your streak was. He chuckles quietly to himself, and I'm glad at least one of us is amused by the situation. Anyways. I say nothing, still reeling from the fact that Calderon wanted to leave me in a place like that. Trigger happy. Ah. Oh god. Leave June alone. He glances at me, giving me a once-over from head to toe, and pulling his lips into a tight, unimpressed line. 25? Oh, wow. That is a big, well... At least for here, that's a big streak. I'm pretty sure other people with other, like, streamers, theirs are like 50 or something. I can take care of myself. Damon huffs a laugh, and I swear I hear him mumble something that sounds like cute under his breath. I do nothing but narrow my eyes at him, to which he replies with a dark grin, as if that was the exact reaction he was hoping for. He pulls a black leather sheath from the pocket of his coat and holds it toward me. On closer inspection, I noticed a glint of metal and a sturdy handle. He's giving me a dagger. But I don't make any kind of move to take it. Damon clicks his tongue at me impatiently. Don't click your tongue at me. How dare you? Yeah, I'll take it. I don't see why not. Hesitate for a moment, wondering if he's going to stick it in my gut himself before I reach out and take it. If what I've heard of Nos Vega is true, it doesn't sound like the sort of place I should be wandering around unprotected. Hello? Keyboard? Damon cocks an eyebrow at me, a gesture that makes me wonder if he's surprised I took the dagger at all. No, but I'll figure it out. Sticking with the pointy end. I mean, yeah. That's... yeah. It's not wrong. Halloran's deep voice cuts our conversation short. When I turn, his attention is still firmly fixed on the controls in front of him. I would question if he's noticed my presence at all, having not received so much as a glance from him, but I don't think anything escapes that man. No. The sigh crackles through the receiver, followed by Bash's voice once again bright and bold. Damon snickers beside me, shaking his head before he pushes me toward an empty chair and sits me down. I raise an eyebrow as he straps me in, securing the belts around me in place and pulling twice to ensure they're firm. Right, like, oh, you do care. How sweet of you. Oh, you actually do care about my safety after all. Okay. That's also kind of fair, though. That's kind of fair. No. Yes, sir. He yanks on the belt again, pulling it tighter across my chest as he leans forward and half whispers. Oh my. I clip my mouth closed in case he decides to make good on his threat, though something about his smirk gives me the impression he might actually enjoy that. Ay. I'm telling you, that man is dangerous. For both my heart and just mentally. Physically and mentally. He's bad for me. The sound of metal groaning catches my attention when Damon takes the seat next to me. Striking? Yes, striking. Strapping himself in just as the ship lurches and rumbles. Leaning forward as far as my restraints will allow, the beige-orange mass of terranium surrounds us. The vivid neon lights and unusual buildings of Nos Vega growing closer and closer as we approach our destination. When we descend the loading ramp, the first thing that hits me is the heat. Not the balmy kind of warmth you find on a pleasant summer's day, but the scorch of fiery engines and hot metal. Apologies if my model... See, not too far. Ah, please stay like that. Like, I'm begging you, stay like that. Please don't move phone. See, this is why I need a phone holder. So that way I can just like put it somewhere and not have to worry about it like falling over. The late afternoon sun hangs low in the sky, and a metallic oily scent lingers in the air. I wrinkle my nose at it, surveying my surroundings. We're on a landing ship in what looks to be some kind of junkyard. Scrap metal piles up on either side of us. Broken down bots, rusted old spacecrafts, outdated tech. A graveyard of poor unwanted things. It's a relief to step onto solid ground after the past few days in space, and I toe the dirt beneath my shoe, kicking up a small cloud of dust. Following behind the group, my eyes drift over the piles of junk surrounding us until my gaze falls upon a surfing bot. An older model by the looks of what I can see of it, laying half buried within a pile of rusted metal arms, legs, and torsos, thrown haphazardly into a pyramid. I step towards it, its black eyes, one cracked right down the middle, staring into mine and its mouth opening and closing slowly, like a dying goldfish. A shiver runs through me, and I find myself feeling oddly sorry for the machine, left lost and alone among the skeletons of its own kind. Someone grabs my arm and yanks me aside roughly, and I see immediately what they saved me from, impaling my foot on. A piece of metal scrap lace half buried in the sand, its jagged edge poking up ominously through the dust. Calderon gives me a hard look. His face cooled into an expression of annoyance. Sorry, I was distracted. I could say thanks. No. I roll my eyes at my own carelessness, but I'm thankful that someone was watching out for me. When I turn to Calderon, I notice his gaze lingering on the same sad bot. There's a look on his face that I can't quite decipher. And with that, he continues on, leaving me watching him go, a little dumbfounded. June told me I should stay close to someone while we're here, and now more than ever, I agree with him. I feel more comfortable if that someone was... Okay, again, save it. For when I want to come back and do everything over for somebody else. Oh, I don't even know why I'm hesitating. Sorry. It's like I just blanked out for a moment. It was like a moment of meditation. Except minus the meditating. Just no thoughts up there in the head. I catch up to the captain, falling in to step beside him, and he raises an inquisitive eyebrow at me. Maybe. No, sir. Calderon hums his approval, and I swear I see the hint of a smile curve his lips. We don't have to walk much further before we're greeted by a scaled lizard-like being who smiles and spreads their arms wide to welcome us. I break away from the group a little to get a better look at our host. Calderon steps forward first, a rumble of impatience hanging thick in his words. Opal drops their arms, surveying Calderon with an almost fearful look. I don't blame them, really. The captain is an intimidating man. Calderon strolls over to the gear with the daemon in tow, while Aya steps forward to give Opal a much friendlier greeting. She smiles up at the lizard, who towers above her and makes a non-committal kind of sound. Aya's eyebrows shoot up higher, her expression shifting to one of horror. June frowns, and I can't help but notice Opal shy away a little, having only just noticed he was there. Ayo? Was Damon onto something about being him being trigger happy? The Council of Embers? Ask Bash who's standing beside me, and he whispers back his answer. Monarch means Zavok. Bash wrinkles his nose at the name. While June and Aya carry on their conversation in hushed tones, I feel a hand on my back as Bash steers me toward Opal, hailing them with a wave of his bionic hand. The Nargnos looks me over, their beady eyes blinking rapidly and their forked tongue darting out from behind pointed teeth. I don't like the way Opal's looking at me. Bash shakes his head at the lizard, then leans in a little closer to whisper to me. Yeah. Yeah, I know. the sexy kind. An ungraceful snort of laughter escapes me, and I'm not sure whether to feel flattered or offended that Opal had considered me a candidate. Both, I guess? It's like, hey, you think I'm sexy, you know? But it's also like, what the fuck, bro? I see. I feel a nudge on my arm, and when I turn, Opal was beside me, teeth bared in a pointed smile. Opal blinks at Bash once, and then twice, ignoring him completely as they turn back to me. Calderon shoulders his way past the Archnos, standing between us and blocking me from Opal's beady eyes. His shoulder brushes against mine, and the scent of clean soap and fresh linen washes over me. I can't see Opal's reaction, but I hear their reply come from Calderon's other side. Oops, sorry. I don't know why that click was so loud. Calderon leans in and says something to Opal in a harsh whisper I don't understand. I realize after a moment that he's spoken another language entirely. Calderin leans back and crosses his arms over his chest, looking awfully pleased with himself. Calderin looks unconvinced, though he heaves a sigh despite his hesitation, and Aya gives him an excited clap on the back before she turns to me. The streets of Nosvega are a minefield of neon lights, tiny shop fronts and stalls, and all manner of creatures roaming the city. It doesn't take us long to reach our destination, stopping outside a large, odd-shaped building with a fluorescent sign on the front reading, The Ark. The bar we enter is crowded, overflowing with humans, Ctulfins, Archnos, and some species I've never seen before. The crowd in here is so diverse, so colorful and unique that I can't help but let my eyes wander. A small group of Archnos hides away in a corner to the back, low hisses and chirps, the only thing to be heard among their heated discussion. We just hurry through the crowd, just in tight, dark outfits. Most look human, with varying degrees of bionic alterations. Synthetic limbs, cybernetic enhancements. Some of them even look more animal than human. A couple of Ctulfins stand out among the crowd, their gills shimmering brightly with some sort of pearlescent substance. It doesn't take long to realize there are no Telari. I'm sorry. I wonder why that is. I feel a little out of place here as one of only two Telari. I don't know why I keep going Telari, like there's no I. And the various sets of eyes that settle on us make the flush that spreads across my face even more fierce. This feels like the kind of place someone would come to escape, to disappear in a crowd, lose yourself for a night or even forever. I wonder if the crew feels the same. There are things, places, people that they too wish to escape. The Ark is most definitely a world of its own, and I wonder how deeply it would drag me down the rabbit hole if I let it. It's a lot to take in. The lights, the crowds, the noise. But at the same time, this could be exactly what I need after spending the last few days cooped up on the ship. I wouldn't mind exploring a little to find out more about the place. My eyes dart to Calderin, who turns up his nose at the atmosphere, large arms folded across his chest. I'm not surprised to find that he has a certain distaste for the club, though I'm relieved that the captain is capable of detesting something other than me. As if he could hear my very thoughts, Calderin's eyes fall upon me, and I try my best not to shrink under his icy stare as I look away, a small smile tugging at my lips. The captain could do with some loosening up, though I'm not sure this is the way to do it. More than a few eyes watch as we enter, sizing up the newest patrons of the club. Most seem to know the crew, and while some are friendly, offering greetings or simply the nod at their head, others are not so much. The crew don't seem to mind the odd, unfriendly glare they receive, either ignoring it completely or in some cases, giving it back just as rough. Calderin gives me a hard look before he heads toward the bar, and I resist the urge to roll my eyes at him. I notice as he walks away that my eyes have lingered on him for far too long, and I quickly drop my gaze and look away. David grins at me knowingly, nudging past me to join the captain. Ayame flashes a smile, skipping toward a curtain near the back of the room. When she pushes it to the side, I get a glimpse of a crowd surrounding a few circular stages. June lets out a weary sigh from beside me before striding off to catch up to the pilot. Bash grins, and I watch as he heads to a separate room off to the side of the building, Riona hot on his heels. I peek through the door a little before the curtain floats back to its place after them, catching a glimpse of felt-lined tables and plastic chips of different colors. Deciding I'd like to learn more about the crew and my future with it, push my way through the crowd and find myself at the bar. I don't know if I'm hallucinating, but I feel like you were able to choose where you wanted to go. If you wanted to spend time with Bash, Riona, Calderin, and Damon, or June and Aya. Yeah, I feel like you were. Damon grins at me, wide and wolfish, as he leans sideways against the bar. Water. I don't miss the unimpressed purse of his lips, though I choose to ignore it as he signals the bartender, ordering our drinks. Yes, actually, give me some applesauce. I narrow my eyes at him, but say nothing. This place is as dangerous as I've been led to believe. It'd be best if I keep my senses sharp. Let him brood in silence, Damon. He doesn't want to be having fun. He's being forced to have fun. Damon grins, and I immediately know he's hit Calderin exactly where he wanted. Calderin tenses, his shoulders tight as Damon turns to me. Orsana's guard? To my surprise, Calderin is the one who answers. Something about the way he says this intrigues me. There's a kind of disdain in his voice, and his eyes have turned hard at some hidden thought. Why'd you leave? I want to ask more. The growl in his voice suggests I better not. Ask a different question instead. Did you know the royal family? A muscle feathers in his jaw, and a few moments pass before Calderin speaks again. Calderin gives Damon a look, though the latter only shrugs and takes a long drink from his glass. I'm on the verge of telling him that it was, in fact, June who did all the saving, but when Calderin makes an unimpressed sound, I keep my mouth shut. Okay. Yes, please, because I'm very not in the know. Gold, of course. I resist the urge to glance at Calderin, and I think Damon notices by the knowing glint in his eyes. Damon shoots a look at Calderin before leaning in and whispering to me. His lips quirk, and my own follows suit. Calderin appears to be pretending not to have heard him. As you do. It's like you're not gonna get a rise out of me today. His smile peels away in an instant, and he rolls his eyes as he mumbles into his glass. He scans my face with those sharp eyes, but all I can do is shake my head. None of it sounds familiar. Maybe I'm not from Goldus after all. Damon scoffs as he drops his glass back down on the counter. What happened to you? See this? I told you. I literally told you in the previous stream. I love the banter and dynamic between these two. It's like it's basically the rage baiter and rage baited. Like back then I didn't have a word for it, but now I do. I think that's what makes it so funny. Is that it's like Calderin obviously sometimes knows that Damon's trying to rage bait him. But he still falls for it anyway. Oh my god. I'll never not love these two when they interact. Damon grins wolfishly, his steady gaze sizing up the captain in a way that has him narrowing his eyes into thin slits of blue. Calderin rolls his eyes and clears his throat for good measure. Oh, that's soon. The mood around us grows thick, and I'm almost tempted to slip away and let them sort out their shit on their own. Eventually, Calderin lets out a heavy sigh. Damon bangs a fist on the bar in front of him, and I think it's the first time I've ever seen him genuinely pissed off. The fact that Calderin hasn't completely decimated Damon surprises me, and I wonder about the nature of their relationship. Well, not a healthy one, I'll give you that. They turn away from each other, and the air between them thick with tension. I feel like I should speak up, but before I can find the words, I notice Damon freezing me in place with that icy stare. Don't come after me just because you're angry with him. Don't be that person. I throw a thumb in the captain's direction, but Damon doesn't take the bait. Calderin rolls his eyes and clears his throat as he looks me over. Damon looks me up and down, and I swallow around the nervous lump that's forming in my throat. What kind of work? Well, since the ad break, I should take a break. Rest my throat and stuff so I could keep reading. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they changed it or it's just further ahead. Maybe it is a little further ahead. Because I'm like, it wouldn't make sense for them to change it now, would it? Hmm. Oh, ads are done. Alrighty. We'll get yapping again. Sorry. I raised an eyebrow at him, wondering what his definition is of useful. Scoot over here. If I knew that, don't you think I would have said something by now? It's been 4 days, actually, but thanks for the vote of confidence. Damon narrows his eyes at my sarcasm. I can choose anyone on the crew? Okay. I narrow my eyes at him. His choice of words is poor, but in a way I understand what he means. I don't want to be a burden on the people who have helped me. Pulling my own weight in exchange for food and accommodation sounds fair enough to me. I mean, not you. Not this time, anyway. It seems on first thought like the safer choice. Though by the way Calderon's forehead tips, that's the second stick off. I'm a little less sure about that. Still, despite his stony exterior, there's something about him that intrigues me. Maybe after spending a bit of time together, he'll warm up to me. Oh, he warms up alright. I choose the captain. Damon waves a dismissive hand, as though, on second thought, he decides he doesn't really care. He stands and tosses back the contents of his glass. Before he leaves, he stops for just a moment, long enough to look over his shoulder and smirk at me. Alright. Alright. You don't have to expose me like that. You don't have to expose me like that. Are you jealous because I'm not looking at you like that? Is that it? Trying desperately to follow Calderon's lead. I act like I haven't heard him. By the way Damon's smile grows, I can tell he's not buying it. Thanks. Calderon stares down the neck of his bottle, a faraway look in his eyes. I suppose, since I'll be staying on the ship, it can't hurt to get to know him better. Taking advantage of his silence, I decide to ask the question that's been floating in the back of my mind. What did you mean before, when you said you had no choice but to leave Goldus? I do. That was only one. He pins me to the spot with an impatient look, and I swallow around the nervous lump that forms in my throat. Like it or not, I have to admit to myself that this man intimidates me. Stealing my nerves, I decide that it doesn't matter. Not when there's a reason that I chose to spend time with him. I'm just trying to learn more about you, that's all. Calderon's face softens, but his eyebrows dip in confusion when he glances at me. Why not? Because I don't think you're as much of a hard-ass as you let on. He turns back to the bar, and for a moment I think he isn't going to say anything else. When he finally speaks, his voice is almost too quiet to hear over the static of the crowd around us, and I find myself leaning in closer to hear. No, you didn't. 3 words. That's all it takes to shatter his hostility and crumble some of that wall. What happened? Is that why you were on Goldus that day? Rizalvok? Fair enough. I recoil from the captain, taken aback by the fire in his eyes, and the ugliness of the rage smeared across his handsome face. My stomach twists with the hurt, and I half wish I hadn't made the effort to get close to him at all. It's clear that he doesn't appreciate it in the slightest. Well, I'm very sorry to have bothered you. My words are short and clipped, and when I turn away from the bar, Calderon puts a hand on my arm to stop me. Speak. I do nothing but take in the look of guilt creeping across his features, and give him the chance to speak. A little of the annoyance inside me begins to dissipate, but that doesn't excuse the captain's rudeness. I don't know what happened to you, but you know that I'm an actual person, right? I don't appreciate being spoken to like some object that you can just boss around. Calderon's mouth pulls into a tight line, and he acknowledges my complaint with the nod of his head. I'm a little taken aback by his sincerity, but despite that, I managed to give him a small smile. Thanks. And hey, if you ever do want to talk, you know where to find me. We smile at each other, and I feel like I've started to chip away at that ice-cold wall of his, if only a little. Can I ask you something? No. Right, no. So what did you say to Oppo earlier? Out in the junkyard. A shadow crosses over Calderon's face, but this time his annoyance is directed at me. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you kinda like them. The language you spoke to them. How did you learn it? He hesitates for a moment, some past memory flickering through his thoughts before he speaks again. Where are they now? He clears his throat before he glances over at me, forcing a smile that seems anything but real. No, it's okay. I'd rather stay with you. Okay. You're not boring me. I'd rather stay here and talk to you. Calderon raises an eyebrow, as though he doesn't quite believe me. A few seconds later, he smirks. Certain. Unless I fell out of bed and bumped it while I was sleeping. I don't think so. He huffs a laugh, the deep sound cutting through the music and conversation surrounding us. I mean, you sure? I mean, if you want to sleep with me, I don't mind. Oh my god. But yeah, you know, it's fine if you want to sleep together. I can't stop myself from laughing at his blunder. Even he can't help but chuckle at himself, though I don't miss the subtle flush of red staining his cheeks. A sudden pang of sadness hits me for this man who is so guarded, and who seems so unwilling to let anyone in. That's right, you can't. And anyway, you interest me. He asked the question with an edge to his voice, but something about him is softer than it was before. Everything, really. His eyes fall upon me in a stare so intense it takes everything I have not to look away. For a few moments we stay that way, eyes locked, heart picking up speed. Calderon parts his lips to speak, but obviously thinks better of it, dropping his head and giving me a sheepish grin. Anyway, before you send me off, I have more questions to ask you. Can you blame me? I know you're all perfectly content to have a night off, but I'm still in the middle of a memory loss crisis here. Calderon sighs before he looks at me again, and I swear I see a glimmer of guilt flash across his face. I purse my lips, not totally happy with that particular answer, but willing to at least wait until morning. His declaration catches me a little off guard after the previous conversation, but I steady myself enough to look at him curiously. What is it? Okay. He rolls his shoulders before he speaks, hands clenching and unclenching on the bar in front of him. Be honest. Alright. Calderon looks around the club before he lowers his head, leaning toward me. He straightens up at once, giving me a hard look. In for a penny, in for a pound, they say. Wait, is that the saying? Oh no, I don't even remember. I really don't have much of a choice, brother. I'll be honest with you. Where else would I go? I look toward the door. Out there, I know nothing. I have nothing. I like to stay with the crew. I give him a disbelieving snort, thrown off by the question. Mercenaries? You mean hitmen who use other people's misfortune for their own personal gain? Calderon doesn't say anything, but when I notice the clench of his jaw, something clicks. That's what you all are? Mercenaries? He turns back to his drink, taking a long sip and resting his large forearms on the bar in front of him. All I've ever known of mercenaries has been tainted with preconception. Hired guns, no better than space pirates whose mercilessness knows no bounds. Calderon and even Damon fit the bill well enough. When I think of the others, I can't help but wonder if they're not all that Calderon is making them out to be. I don't have a problem with it exactly. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, that's all. He grimaces in understanding, tossing back the contents of his drink and tapping the bottle against the counter, glancing at my now empty glass. Sure. I almost chuckle at the flush on his face as he signals the bartender, grumbling to himself when he fails to get their attention. I get the impression that he doesn't get the chance to relax nearly as much as he should. While he shifts aside, a terrified kid who looks much too young to be in a place like this, I relax on the bar stool and wait. I almost started singing. Ooh, caught myself just in time. My attention shifts to the man who has sidled up beside me, far too close for comfort. He appears human at first glance, though 2/3 of his face and both arms have been replaced by bionics, and his voice has a strange metallic echo to it. His eyes focus on me, pair them glowing an eerie neon green, and it takes me a few moments to compose myself and wave a dismissive hand in front of me. No thank you. I've barely turned to search for Calderon when a cold metal hand grabs my arm and almost yanks me right off my seat. A yelp escapes me, and I attempt to pry my arm from his metallic hand, to no avail. He leans in closer, the heat of his breath blasting at the side of my face and reeking with alcohol. Ugh. I can't stand it when people smell like alcohol. The growl of an extremely pissed off captain resounds from beside me, and the man's grip on me loosens before he drops his hand completely. It's only when the man leaves that Calderon removes his fingers from the blaster hanging at his side. I can't help myself from teasing him in an attempt to lighten the mood. Jealous? I'm sorry, but you'll have to find a new nickname, Captain. I'm an official part of the crew now, don't you remember? Yes, sir. Thanks for saving me. It's hard to tell under the fluorescent lights of the bar, but I swear the captain's face flushes a deep shade of red. That's okay. I think I'll go have a look around the club. I slide off my bar stool, only to feel the firm grip wrap around my arm before I take a step further. I roll my eyes before settling on him again with a smile. I'll be fine, Captain. Okay, I think they did change stuff up. Because I don't recall also being able to hang with Damon. Wondering where Damon might have slinked off to, I peer through the crowd. Surprisingly, I find him not far away, seated on a stool further down the bar. When I approach, he slides a glass my way, filled with a clear liquid. Yeah, but can you blame me? Do you want an award? I sniff the drink subtly to make sure that it's actually water, and after deeming it safe, I take a sip, while Damon drinks from his own glass in silence. Chancing a glance at him from the corner of my eye, I decide that if I'm going to be staying on the ship for the time being, it can't hurt to get to know him better. So, now that we're here, can I ask you something? Yes, if you have to. One of my favorite lines. If you have to ask something of me. I give him a look, but with the roll of his eyes and the tilt of his chin, he encourages me to go on. What was it like, growing up on Cursa? Damon hesitates, swirling the contents of his glass. I suppose he's probably going to brush the question off, until he surprises me by speaking again. You were pretty defensive about it with Calderon earlier. Why would anyone want to defend a shithole? Liz? Damon gives me a sharp look, and I shut my mouth abruptly, wondering if I'd even see the knife before he sinks it into my gut. No. Also, no. No. Luckily, he only shrugs, that mask of indifference settling back into place. Ah. Damon, the king of rage baiting. I raise an eyebrow at him, unconvinced. He's a good liar, I'll give him that, but I don't believe he's as unconcerned for Cursa as he likes to make out. Sure, Damon, if that's what you want me to believe. With a disgusted scoff, Damon turns away from me. He rests his forearms against the bar and takes in a sharp inhale of breath, which I suppose is his attempt to keep from murdering me where I stand. I watch Damon as he speaks, noting the crease of his forehead, the tightness of his jaw. His gaze lingers on his glass, but he's staring straight through it, lost inside the remnants of his past. He taps his fingers on the bar, as though every word spoken about his former home is making him more and more agitated. Sounds like a rough place to grow up. Damon chuckles, though there's no warmth in the sound. When he looks at me again, his blue eyes are cold. It's hard as flint and steel. I swallow around the lump in my throat. It's suddenly beginning to make sense why Damon is the way he is. It can't have been easy growing up in a place like that. Was it always that bad? Damon taps his fingers as he thinks, sliding his tongue over his teeth and fixing me with that hard stare. That is true. Erosion is a thing. Obviously not the rock kind of erosion, but erosion in general. Something about those words makes me pause, and I wonder just how long it took for Cursor to fall so far. How did you make it out? Yes, Caldron did. I mean, you could ask me something. Maybe you could ask me something for a change. Damon chuckles at the idea, and the glint in his eyes tells me I should probably regret opening that door to him. Eh. It doesn't matter because it's not like I remember anything. Try me. You know what? You're right. Should have closed that door when I had the chance. But then again, I don't have memories, so I don't know. My mouth pops open and I blink at him. Should have known he'd ask me something like that, and I know that he's trying to make me uncomfortable on purpose. Damon only grins wider at the look on my face and chuckles quietly to himself. I twist my lips to the side, deciding that I'm not about to give him the option to do that again in a hurry. Maybe it's better if I stick to asking the questions after all. I glower at him, hating that he can see right through me. Still, I'm not about to pass up the opportunity. Fine. What happened to your family? Are they still in Cursa? His eyes go hard, obviously not expecting that topic of all things. Fair enough. Then answer the first one. His voice is rough, and for half a second, I think he's going to get up and leave, till he rolls his neck and fixes me with a hard stare. His voice is bland and uninterested. He's not as good at hiding the hurt as he thinks he is. I can't remember if I have a family of my own. If there's anyone out there waiting for me wherever I came from, I have no clue. But actually knowing that you have no one, that's worse on so many levels. I love how one of the options is, wow, that's depressing. No shit. I mean, you could let someone in, yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be me, but you can let someone in. It's always an option. Damon may be rude and obnoxious, but something about him draws me in, and I have to admit that I care how he feels. Perhaps more than I should. I think there's someone out there who would care about you if you let them in. Yeah? What's wrong with that? The casual tilt of his lips makes my face flush with heat, and the dark rasp of laughter that escapes him surprises me. I know he's trying to push me away, but I refuse to be scared off so easily. I hold his gaze with mine and drag my bottom lip between my teeth. I'm starting to think I like trouble. He cocks his head at me, his eyebrows raising a fraction, and something tells me that while he wasn't expecting that reaction, he doesn't exactly hate it. Lord. Our eyes lock for far too long, my skin prickling with warmth beneath his scorching gaze. Eventually he lets out a slow, seductive laugh, and turns back to the bar, shaking his head to himself. Aw, you don't want to be a knight in shining armor? Trust me, Damon, no one would confuse you for a knight. But true. I leave Damon with his latest order, a double shot of shrimp juice with extra lemon, and look around the crowd. Turning away from the bar, I'm drawn to the shouts floating my way from the room at the back of the club, followed by a round of loud cheers. I make my way through the crowd, sidling around a dark and dodgy-looking dance floor before I push aside the curtain to the back room and freeze. Ah, I see. Oh god, hold on. Okay, as long as I stay here, it should be okay. I forgot about this scene. Okay. So it seems like... Because like I said, in the past, I don't think they had it like this. They had it where you could like select where you wanted to go. Like if you want to go to the bar with Calderin and Damon, into the casino area with Bash and Riona, or hang out with June and Aya. I think before you could like choose two to do, and then it would move on. But now it's seeming like they're gonna basically make you experience all of them. I suppose that's actually a better thing to do. Because again, it does allow you to get to know them all a little bit more, rather than just having you already early on splitting up from everybody and just basically just doing the people you like, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's always good to let players get to know the characters a bit more, rather than, you know, having them miss out on content because they didn't select that person. That's more like later stage stuff. But again, I could be misremembering. I don't think my memory is that bad. Yeah, I don't think. Surveying the scene in front of me doesn't take long for the realization to dawn. Hidden at the back of the arc, behind a dirty red curtain and a crowd of sleazy patrons, is a strip club. Long-haired dancers swing around poles or dance in sand-filled glass bubbles that hang from the ceiling, while patrons of all species and sizes cheer them on. I would say that I'm surprised, but after meeting Oppo earlier, I'm really not. The sight of June and Ayame shouting at each other over the music, however, I could have never planned for. Pushing my way through a dozen people, I join June beside the small stage. He turns to me with an exasperated look, his arms falling to his sides in defeat, and leans in so I can hear him better. I watch Aya as she spins around on a pole that goes all the way from the stage up to the roof, her laughter drowned out by the boom of the music. I mean, she looks like she's having fun. I don't know, June. Looks like she's having fun. Why not leave her to it? I chuckle at the way Aya is dancing and laughing. It's obvious that she's completely in her element. He gestures to the crowd, and as I look around at the many faces hungrily eyeing Ayame, I understand what he means. Something inside me softens, and I realize that June isn't trying to ruin Aya's fun on purpose. He's trying to protect her. Our heads whip toward Ayame right as she leans backwards on the pole and flips herself upside down, her hair hanging in long waves beneath her. I glance at June, who seems to be on the verge of having a panic attack, and decide that I should probably intervene. Aya, maybe you should calm down now? Grandpa. Aya laughs and hooks an ankle around the pole, spinning around so many times I feel dizzy just watching her. Galderin will always be the butt of a joke. Their eyes lock on each other unflinching, and interrupted only when Aya twirls around the pole, her face appearing in a mere moment later to continue the glaring match. I glance between them awkwardly. What have I gotten myself into with this crew? Listen, June. You're not gonna get through to her. June, I think we should leave Aya to have her fun. We can keep a lookout from one of those booths over there. I point to the edge of the room, where half a dozen circular booths line the wall, most of them unoccupied thanks to Aya's performance. June looks at me helplessly, where his shoulders drop, and he relents with a small sigh. He holds out a hand and gestures to the crowd with a nod of his head. Sure, why not? Place my hand in his, and the warmth of his fingers close around mine as he gently guides me through the crowd to an empty, darkened booth in the corner of the room. The air is cooler here, and I take in a deep breath, grateful to escape the stuffiness of the body surrounding the stage. There's a shimmering sort of force field in front of the seating area, and once we pass through it, the music fills to a low hum. I suppose to give people a chance to talk somewhere quieter. I slip into the circular booth, finding a spot where I can easily see the stage. June slides in next to me, his shoulder brushing mine, and his eyes hard as he glances in Aya's direction. Why do you worry about her so much? June startles at the question, his gaze flicking from the stage back to me. He hesitates, and I get the impression that it's not only Ayame that June looks out for. He's a protector, someone that the crew can rely on. That much is clear. A small smile tugs at the corner of his mouth, and he glances at the stage again. He trails off. A shadow of sorrow crosses over his face. He smiles at me softly, and I can't stop myself from asking the next question that crosses my mind. Are you interested in Ayame? Like, romantically? June's eyebrows shoot sky high, his soft gray eyes widening in surprise. Aww. I like the family vibe that they got going on, kinda. There's a loud cheer, and some shouting from near the stage. When my gaze snaps to the sources to find that Aya has pulled some poor soul up onto the stage with her, the two of them spinning around the pole at an alarming speed. Again, I can see June's anxiety starting to spike, so I think quickly of how I can distract him while Aya has her fun. Let's talk about you. By the way his eyes snap to mine, it seems to have done the trick. Well, I know so little about you. I'd like to get to know you better. The way his face drops so suddenly makes the room feel dark, and I find myself wishing he would smile again. He spends so much time looking out for the crew. Who looks out for you? He gives me a strange look, but then his lips quirk, just a little. I think everyone needs someone. His eyebrows dip in the middle, and he lets out a short sigh. I nod slowly, before I glance towards the stage, making sure Aya is still in sight. I spot her easily, dancing with a few other people on stage and looking like she's having a blast. But just seeing that she's perfectly fine, I turn back to June. You don't seem like a mercenary. He chuckles softly and sits up a little straighter in his seat. I don't know. You care about others, you protect them, you save me back on Goldus. Himself off abruptly, his jaw going tight. I can see that whatever this is, it's a sensitive topic. Perhaps it's best not to make him talk about it. Not right now, anyway. Could you tell me more about Orion? Or Orion? How do you guys say it? Do you say it Orion or Orion? Well, when you're not like talking about the constellation. He seems a little on edge, but he agrees with the nod of his head. Anything, really. I'm hoping something familiar might trigger a memory. But what about the natives? Surely life already existed when humans moved to these planets. Leave it to humanity, always driving things to the brink of extinction and endangerment. He makes a small, unimpressed sound as he shakes his head. Hilarion. June makes a face, kind of grimace, and I can't quite tell what his thoughts are on all this. He hesitates as he looks down at the table, his fingers instinctively going to one of the bracelets that sits around his wrists. He struggles with the words, disgust and bitterness lacing his words so thickly. I find it harder and harder to distinguish the gentleman beneath. What was it? That green metal? June stops abruptly, his throat bobbing uncomfortably and his eyes hard. His hand twitches on the table in front of him, knuckles turning white where he clenches them tight, his jaw gritted hard. June? I place a hand on his arm, and finally he pulls himself out from whatever hell his past has thrown him in, his eyes glistening with unshed tears and the rage that filled him just moments ago vanishing. My gaze drifts to his hands, and it's only now that I notice the raised marks and odd scars that cover the skin on the back of them, traveling all the way up his forearms and disappearing beneath his sleeves. Around each wrist, he wears a bracelet made of brown leather, with small silver plates. I swallow around the lump in my throat. There's something about June that seems so sad, and I can't even begin to imagine what kind of life he's had that's caused it. You have nice hands. What a way to flirt. just, go up to somebody you're talking to, just be like, you have nice hands. I like your bracelets. I was just looking at your bracelets. They're nice. I like them. His fingers immediately go to the one around his left wrist, tugging on it instinctively. Did you make them? His face falls and he loops the bracelet around his finger a little tighter. I don't ask anything else. After seeing the look on his face, it doesn't seem polite to. I watch him for a few moments, and it suddenly occurs to me how right I was. I really don't know much about June at all. I'm about to ask him something else when a familiar voice rings out through the space. Our heads both snap towards the stage to find Aya being grabbed at by some guy, who seems to be trying to make her dance with him. Immediately, I recognized him as the tin-faced man from earlier. Okay, yep, they definitely changed stuff up. Because I'm like, they never mentioned that it was exactly the same guy. Or if they did, it was like after like the fact, when you go back to like the bar area. Yeah. So they did change stuff up. Okay, so I'm not crazy. I'm like, something's different here. Because why am I immediately going to the bar even though I haven't selected anything? Oh no, I ran into that guy earlier, and he's trouble. In an instant, June is on his feet, and I follow him back towards the crowd. You're not going to get in a fight, are you? I watch as June heads back to the stage, pulling the guy back by the arm at the same time as blocking Aya's fist mid-punch with his raised hand. Deciding it's probably best not to get involved in whatever is going to happen next, I'll sit past that dirty red curtain and back into the club. There's only one place in the club I haven't been yet, and I'm curious to find out how Bash and Riona are amusing themselves. So yeah, seems like they decided, instead of just having you select where you want to go, you're just gonna go, regardless. So yeah, see? It was a good idea, you know, start over from the beginning. See that they changed some stuff. Settling around the dance floor once more, I've almost made it to the curtain separating the final room from the rest of the club, when I feel a sharp pointed nail tap me on the shoulder. When I turn, it's to find Oppo, looking nothing short of delighted that they found me. They offer a strange half-bow in greeting. Oppo blinks at me a couple of times, leaning forward while they wait for an answer. Oh, it's great, Oppo. I've never seen anything like it. Oppo smiles, apparently happy with the answer as they clasp their hands in front of them and peer at me through wide, yellow eyes. Oh, well, Bitch, I ain't gonna tell you the truth. Oppo seems harmless enough, but after all the warnings I'd received about Nos Vega, I'm not sure I should trust them so easily. I met the crew in Silta V. They hired me as their new, cook. To blurting out the first thing that comes to mind, I want to slap myself on the forehead. Cook? I'm pretty sure the crew are perfectly capable of cooking for themselves. You know, someone who cooks food, prepares meals for the crew. I let out a breath of relief. Ew. Oppo smacks their tongue against their teeth hungrily. And if I had eaten dinner, I think I might have thrown it all up at the thought of eating insects. Yes, that's right. I swallowed thickly. It's a dreadful ordeal, no matter how hated the old king was. 15 lives. An entire family gone. Opal's eyes narrow, and they look at me intently. You think the child is still alive? How would one recognize this child? If they saw them, that is. Opal looks me over, and for a moment I think the conversation is over, until suddenly they speak again. Opal smiles at me, and although the pointed teeth give them a rather sinister look, I get the impression they mean what they say. Thank you, Opal. With another half bow, Opal ambles off into the crowd, and after watching them until they disappear, I continue on my way. Heading toward the room off to the side of the club, when I push the curtain aside, I spot Bash not too far away, seated around a half-moon table covered in crimson felt. The 3 other patrons are seated at the same table, a small creature with a bored look on her face, and a beautiful Tolfin couple who look far too finely dressed for a place like this. Dealing a set of cards in front of each seat is a woman who, curiously, I notice has 4 arms. As I step closer to the table, I realize that while her upper arms look natural enough, the bottom are completely robotic, much like Bash's, and assist her with dealing the cards at lightning speed. Bash pushes a stack of chips further onto the table, and as I step up behind him, I finally notice Riona at his side. It would be an understatement to say the look on her face at the sight of his bet is one of pure horror. Bash sits back in his seat, arms folded casually over his chest and a lopsided grin on his lips. Bash snorts at her accusation, and Riona looks less than impressed by the reaction. I watch their argument, if that's what it can be called, with a mild amusement. Soon. It ends when Riona crosses her arms over her chest, turning slightly away from Bash, and presses her lips into what I can only describe as a pout. Forgetting the angry Tilari for a moment, Bash leans closer to me, his voice an excited whisper. I stare at him, utterly perplexed, and his voice fades away into nothing. What about any of that is simple? Bash studies me for a moment before giving a casual shrug of his shoulders and clearing his throat intently. Riona and I share a look. With the deep grooves forming on her forehead, I'd say she's less than pleased about the situation. Can't we find something else to do? Riona gives me an appreciative smile, one that I return while Bash lets out an unhappy groan. Oh, Eds. You know what that means. I'm gonna go get some more water. I'll be right back. Did I read this? I don't remember if I read this. Riona gives me an appreciative smile. One that I return while... Oh snap, I left my water. No! I'll be right back. Okay, because if I didn't have my water, I'd be like gasping. Like, can't read anymore. The finer things? Gambling? I don't think gambling is a finer thing in life. It's not. The dealer flips another card, and Bash's lips quirk further. It bears the image of a goblet. My eyes dart to his face, expecting to find a triumphant smile, but instead I'm met with a look of pure horror. The dealer gestures to the small creature at the end of the table and slides a considerable amount of chips over to her, which she trips happily at. Bash places a hand on her arm to calm her before she can finish her sentence, and she stops abruptly. Look at Riona, who seems anything but relaxed. In fact, she's been looking quite on edge ever since we landed on Terranium. Wait. What is it? Terranium. Terranium. There we go. She leans in to whisper something to Bash and only catch her words over the buzzing sound around us. Bash fixes his eyes on Riona, both bionic and real. He smiles at her for a moment, and I swear his face is softer somehow. It suddenly occurs to me how close the two of them seem, and I wonder if there's more to their relationship than meets the eye. My eyes meet Riona's again, and I offer a half-hearted shrug. Told him so. Right, you can certainly say you told him so. Riona laughs, and the sound is contagious, though Bash merely glowers at the pair of us. No. Well, the look on your face was certainly something. I'm shocked to hear such an unexpected snort of laughter come from Riona, who constantly seems so put together. Bash rolls his eyes at us, his eyes drifting around the room in search of other amusements. Riona gives him a pointed look before letting out a long, tired sigh. I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed in the casino. Finding a quiet spot with Riona sounds more than appealing right now. I'm gonna go with Riona. It's a little too much in here for me. Stretching his arms over his head, Bash smiles at us. With a wave goodbye, Bash darts off, most likely in search of another table to join. Shaking my head, I turn to follow Riona as she makes her way across the room and back through the club. When we exit the club and step out onto the street, I can't say it's any quieter than it was inside, but at least it's easier to breathe out here. Riona turns to me, a sheepish smile tilting her lips. I wanted to spend some time with you. It doesn't matter if it's in there or out here. I glance down the street at the vendors selling their wares from wooden stalls, and the various food carts sending plumes of scented smoke into the air. It's just as crowded as it was in the club, with all sorts of people rushing back and forth, and from our spot leaning against the front wall of the building, we take it all in. Riona smiles at me, and I can tell she's glad I came along. I had noticed. It would be hard not to, but I can't say that I understand why. I have to admit to myself that although I am Tilari, I know next to nothing about the people and their planet. I'm sensing there's more to your story than you've told me. Why did you really leave Tilarian? Riona silently holds my gaze, as if deciding how much she should tell me. After a moment, she bites down on her lip, her bright yellow eyes fixed on the dusty ground beneath us. Nope, between us. Oh god. Riona wrings her hands together nervously, as if waiting for some kind of reaction. All I can do is watch how her luminescent skin wanes when she speaks, growing dimmer by the second. She lets out a soft sigh, fixing me with a worried look. Oops. You guys heard that? Oh god. She gives me a sad smile, as if apologizing for saying so much. And you joined the Andromeda 6 crew? She trails off, hands shaking at her sides at whatever memory she's been trying to ward off before. Sorry, head to sneeze. Before now crash over her. Her face falls in an instant and she covers her mouth with a hand, her eyes squeezed shut tight. I step forward to put a comforting hand on her shoulder, feeling her body shake with emotion. That's perfectly fine. I understand. Can I do anything to help? It pains me to see her like this, and I wish I could do anything to help. Would you like some water, or I'm stronger. I'm sure there's some more of Damon's favorite shrimp juice in there somewhere. I thrust a thumb in the direction of the bar, and Riona lets out a little laugh, shaking her head as she sniffles and wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. She smiles at me through the tears, and I believe it. There's a strength in her that draws me in. It makes me want to know her better. I know that we don't know each other well, but if you ever want someone to talk to about this or anything else, I'll be there. Hope that one day we'll get the chance to know each other better. Riona smiles, despite the flush covering her cheeks, and reaches out a hand to take mine. Riona takes a deep breath to compose herself, looking around the street, and I'm relieved to see that she's feeling better. I don't think he took it too harshly, but I'm sure he'd enjoy your company. She beams at me, her delicate features glowing under the light of the moon. Before she finishes her sentence, two men walk past, their eyes visibly narrowed on the pair of us. One man, a human with corded lights weaving through his skin, steps uncomfortably close and growls in Riona's face. The other one, a Catalfin, what did I just say? A Catalfin, spits at our feet before the two of them stroll off, shoulders pulled back and chests puffed as though they owned the very ground they tread. Oh my god, they're trying to be like peacocks. Oh no 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 no. Hey, you overgrown glow stick. Out of all the names you could have called him, you called him an overgrown glow stick. Okay. Why don't you come and say that again? The man stops in his tracks, anger descending like a black cloud on his face when he turns to sneer at me. You heard me. I hesitate when he storms towards us, having not thought through this plan past the initial stages of hurling abuse at the altered human in front of me. My heart hammers in my chest as his friend rolls up his sleeves, ready for a fight. I grit my teeth, mentally preparing myself for the blow to come until a head of pale silver hair dances in front of my vision. Riona? The man lets out a bellowing laugh, staring Riona down through the eyes, her eyes that shine with sadistic amusement. My blood runs cold at the sound of the dark brass behind us, and when I turn it's to find June staring the men down, his face thunderous and cold. Any glimmer of kindness is gone, replaced by a look I've never seen on him before, and I can't say why, but something about it terrifies me. When June moves in front of Riona and I, shielding us from the stranger and his friend, all I can see are the muscle of his back and shoulders tensing through his clothes. He almost seems bigger somehow, though I know that can't be possible. Oh, he sure can. Oh, he sure can. The man sneers at June, his lips pulled back from straight white teeth until the Catalfin slams a hand on his friend's shoulder, pulling him back and whispering in a terrified voice. He said he's one of them. Bro, he's one of them. The man gives his friend a quizzical look, eyebrows raised in annoyance. When he looks at June next, his eyes go wide and he backs up slowly, one foot behind the other, his mouth opening and closing like a goldfish. Another second later, and the two of them are scrambling down the street, almost falling over each other in their desperate attempts to disappear into the crowd. I let out a breath of relief, though when I look at Riona, face is still twisted in anger I've never seen from her. June stands firmly fixed to the spot. The only signs of movement, the way his shoulders rise and fall with short, shallow breaths. June? I step towards him, hand outstretched and my heart pounding in my ears. My throat tightens uncomfortably, a wave of unwarranted nausea and terror sneaking through my veins. Did I say terror or terror? At this point, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Whatever those men had seen in June, it had shaken them to the core, and I wasn't so sure I wanted to know why. And he finally turns. The ghost of his easy smile slides back into place, though it doesn't quite reach his eyes this time. I let out the breath I had been holding in, my shoulders slumping in relief. Nope, as relief floods through me, as if finally remembering what had brought him here. June's eyebrows dip in worry. Rihanna throws him an alarmed look before hurrying back into the club. But before I can do the same, June stops me with a hand on my arm. Yes. I nod, pushing down whatever curiosity is gnawing at me to discover what had those two men so terrified of him. It's fine, I'm fine. Don't worry about me, June. I smile, trying to assure him that I really am okay. When he finally relents with a nod of his head, we head back into the club together. So how this usually... So basically, how this went before was that you pick two things to do. The casino, the strip club, or the bar. And then after you do the two, you get this scene. So yeah. It's now different. June leads us to a small storage room off to the side of the bar, and we rush inside to find Aya seated on a stack of boxes, her arm held protectively against her stomach. She attempts to smile, but it doesn't last long until she's groaning in pain and cursing under her breath. Riona lets out a small sound and rushes to her side. I swear I heard Riona mumble not again under her breath, but over the music pumping throughout the club I can't be sure. June leaves the room, shutting the door behind him as he goes, and I step next to Riona waiting for instructions. Did you punch a wall? Then did it seem like a good idea to punch a wall? Are you going to tell us what actually happened? Aya scratches her head with her good hand, biting down the smile that threatens to take over her face. Aya shrugs, the silver tips of her hair falling casually around her shoulders. Aya bit back a sting of curses as Riona took her hand and flipped it over to check the damage. So, where's the guy now? I thought June broke you guys apart. Riona merely raises an eyebrow at her, and Aya's smile immediately slides back into place. An ungraceful snort escapes me, and even Riona has a hard time keeping the smile off her face. How bad is her hand, Riona? Of course. I stand to head back out into the bar, but stopping only when Aya calls out to me. Why does everybody keep calling me out for oogling the captain? Stop. It was one time. One time. I roll my eyes at her joke, smirking before throwing her an obscene hand gesture to which she only laughs harder. Closing the door behind me when I leave the room, I start heading toward the bar in search of a bowl of ice. I lean against the counter, immediately regretting the decision when I feel the stickiness of who knows what stuck to my sleeves. Ew. Ew. You better hope it's from a drink. Ooh. Yeah, just trying to. Why do I keep imagining it? Ugh. Disgusted, I turn back around, stopping in my tracks when a glint of red catches my eye between the sea of bodies in the room. I can't explain why, but somehow something about that particular shade of red seems so familiar. Before I even realize what I'm doing, my feet are already weaving through the room, pushing between the dozens of people around me. When did this bar get so crowded? Sorry. I mumble an apology, too fixated on the trail I'm on to stop now. When I get a little closer, I realize that what I've been following is a shock of red hair. The man stops at the exit, looking around a little before disappearing through the door and out into the street. My heart pumps in my chest with an urgency I can't explain, and a voice in my head whispers, follow him, over and over, so utterly relentless that I hear nothing else. I fall behind, desperately pushing my way through the last few feet of the crowd, growing hot and sweaty between so many bodies. When I finally reach the exit, I stop to catch my breath, looking up and down the crowded street for any sign of the man. I see nothing but the usual vendors and street food carts, but I know he must be around here somewhere. He couldn't have just vanished into thin air. Breathlessly, I pick a direction, letting my feet guide me until I'm standing at the mouth of a dimly lit alleyway, a single solitary streetlight casting an eerie glow over the broken furniture of old trash littering the ground. Deciding I'd rather not chance an encounter in a dingy old alley, I turn to head back to the club, stopping only when a noise echoes through the darkness, the sound of breaking glass. I hesitate, ear turned toward the alley, listening for any sign of movement. With newfound determination, I straighten up and muster my courage, taking one step and then another into the darkness. A thought enters my mind as I put one foot in front of the other. It could be a trap, and like an idiot, I didn't tell any of the crew where I was going when I left the club. I fumble with the leather sheath that Damon gave me earlier, buckled around my thigh, and pull out the dagger, holding it tight in my hand. I wasn't so sure about it earlier, but I'm glad I decided to take it, knowing that if worst comes to worst, I can defend myself. Stealing my nerves, I creep through the alley toward the source of the noise, only to find it empty. I look around, peering as far through the darkness as my eyes can manage, though all I find are shadows. Was it just a rat? I don't think a rat can break glass unless it's like pushing it off like a high point. He leans closer still. When he speaks again, his voice is a seductively dark rasp in my ear. I swallow thickly around the lump of fear in my throat, trying to keep my cool. My name is Petty. The man behind me sucks in a breath and spins me to face him, cutting my words short. I can't see his face clearly through the shadows, but I feel his eyes raking over me, and the shock dripping from him when he takes a step back and lets out a shaky breath. And that's the end of episode 2, everybody! Oh my god. Aren't you guys excited? Somebody knows who I am? Episode 3 rebooting, but that's for another stream. So yeah, everybody. Apparently, I might be a highness. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of Andromeda for today. But that's just for Andromeda. There's one more that I want to do. So I did say I'd play it today. So we played this before. Or at least I think we did. I know I played it before on stream. I know we did. Because I remember booting it up and it lagging like crazy. When we got to like the starting screen. I remember that. I remember that so much. Maybe it was like during like a fest or something. I don't know. But they updated their demo. And they're also having their Kickstarter currently. They also changed the name too. So it used to be called Broken Fate. But then I guess they made like an executive decision to rename it. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Maybe they felt like that was the move. But yeah. So it's basically the same game, just different name. Oh my god. My eyes are watering. Oh god. Alright, I'm good. Sorry. Just like a random burst of teary eyes. Let me see. What? First thing I see when I open Twitter. Sailor Moon of coming to Universal Studios in the USA. What? Wait a minute. What? Interesting. Never thought I'd see anime at Universal Studios. Anime has come a long way, my friends. Oh. Yes, please. I see. So yeah, like I said, they updated the demo. So there's a bunch of new well, not a bunch. There's definitely some new stuff. They also like announced a new love interest. I honestly thought they're just gonna keep it to one. But I guess, again, executively they decided adding another was actually better. I don't know. Okay, so for the new content, they said there's a new CG the moment you wake up, then the first day after taking medicine, there's a new choice, and then... Oh no, wait. I read that wrong. So there's a new CG once you wake up for the very first time. And then on the first day, you get a different question that you can ask. A new question you can ask, I mean. And then the second day, I don't recall if there was a moment where we had a doll. Hold on. Let me just like scroll back. To fall in love? Candle. Oh. No. Sorry, I'm just trying to... see when I played it. Oops, I need itch. No, that's not... Oh god. I'm sorry, give me a second, guys. We will get started. Just gotta figure out my life. That's not what I'm looking for. It was in May? Okay. This is April. It's it, what was it? 18th? Okay. May. Back when I was playing Detroit. Those were the days. Oh, it might have been part of VN demos. Was I multi-streaming May of last year? Hold on, let me just quickly check my YouTube. No, I only started. Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay, I did it in May. I completely skipped the month of May for dual streams. What the fuck happened? Okay, so that means it's in videos, hopefully. It's June. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I need to. It's be May 19th. Um. I think that's Lurkit Day. Because this is Chris Tales for the 19th. So. Hold on, let me see. When was May? When was May 19th? Okay. So yeah, that means... let me go fix that real quick, because that's... fucked up. It's supposed to be 21st. I didn't even like double check that it was like correct. Okay, so that means if it was... So this is 19... No, I can't fucking count. Okay. Oh, cause I'm like, huh? That's not right. So 26, 7, 28, 31st. See if I can find May 31st. Did I only play this one? No, I didn't. Okay. This was like an amalgamation. Okay, so I only did 2. So when did I play this? Did I ever finish the Stand By Me demo? Like, I'm actually like genuinely asking you guys, did I ever finish it? Okay, so next we have June. I really hope we did, because it was a pretty good game. June 16th, Thursday. Okay, June 19th. Did I publish anything for that? I don't. July. No, I didn't dual stream the 19th. Did I just like never back it? Which would be kind of crazy, because I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe I'm just blind as a bat. Okay, this is weird. How do I not have... Did I just like not... put up anything? 16, 17, 19, 20... There's 17. What was this? February. That was in February? What the? Sorry, y'all. Okay. Something weird is going on here. We have 16, 17, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2. Okay, I mean, granted, some of them might be missing because, yeah, first is a day off. Obviously, there's no 3, but where's 4? Did I not stream the 4th? No way, I did it. Of course not. 5, 6, 7. Obviously, there's. Wait, stream of the 8th? Really? 9, 10, 11. Okay, 12. And for some reason. Wait. Nine, 10, 12, 13. So did I not stream? Oh wait. It literally says in the post I will not stream Friday. Yeah, okay. So that's why there's nothing there. Okay. That doesn't explain why I don't have June 19th. Did I just decide not to stream that day? I'm so confused. What happened? What happened here? Okay, I'm guessing I did back it up? Oh no, that's bad. Because that actually might have been the day that I played it. Yo. This always happens to me. I'm like, I could have swore I did this, but then I didn't. Right, this was the toaster one. I will find it. Oh, this is final frame. And this one. Let's see. Okay, it was literally just final frame. It was literally just final frame. Okay. Nope. Not it. I think I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that I don't have it. Oh, right. I should change categories. What was it? Yes. That's kind of sad. Need to cook. Who the fuck? 1 second. Sorry that it took so long. Sorry. Dang it, I thought I was in the clear. I'm not. I'm just checking. Just in case. Hold on. Okay, I'm utterly sorry, everybody. But we might have to do House of Petals another day. Because with all this stuff going on, with a wrong delivery and everything, I need to focus on that. But before we go, you know, like I said, we've done this before. even though we don't have the saves for it. We've done this before. Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys remember this. Thanks for stream. Oh, I'm so sorry, Potato. I'm so sorry. I did want to stay for longer, like, honestly. But, like I said, package was delivered to the wrong place, and I'm gonna have to, like, figure out logistics and whatnot for how to get it to them. Sorry. And I want to be able to have my full focus on that and not have to wait about leaving you guys waiting constantly for me to come back. So, better to just end now and pick up again another day. Probably not this week, because I did say I would pick up. What was it again that I did? The other day? I don't remember. My memory is like god awful. Because I know I mentioned that if I'm feeling up to it, I will do more another day. I think it was, Trails, yeah. And so far, I do feel like I'll be up to doing it tomorrow, so... yeah. It'll have to be next week that we pick up House of Petals. You're good, yeah. I'd rather, you know, me be here fully rather than partially. So yeah, I'm going to send you guys to somebody. I don't know who's on. I think Naja's still streaming. Yeah, she's still streaming. She's playing Subnautica for the first time. And yeah. Hope you guys have fun with Naja. And also, in the pinned, as you saw, you can back them on Kickstarter. I know, didn't really play anything, but, you know, you can still check out the Kickstarter and, you know, play the game on your own if you so wish. Bye, have fun with Naja!